pastors expect the worship leaders to be able to man their responsibility without these stories of Satan fell from heaven and fell into worship.
Hey. Hello everyone, welcome to Beyond Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Wanza. If you have not seen me before, karibu, 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 karibu. If you've seen me before, if you've been hanging around with us for the past couple of episodes and you're here, thank you so much for joining us. I don't take this for granted. You are the real OG. Now I want you to do something for me. I want you to like this video. I want you to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button somewhere here. And I want you to share this video to as many worship leaders, as many singers, instrumentalists, choir members, psalmists, singists, band members, all of them. Send it to them, because it will be of benefit to them. And I would like us to walk this journey together. So, today, I have a very, how many times did I say it? A couple of times. A very special person here with me. This person has been in my life for a minute, and he destroyed my English. Most of you wonder why I am such a Nigerian. It's because of this man I'm about to introduce to you. This man is someone I really honor. I have stood on his shoulders. I really honor the grace that he carries. I honor the fact that he is one of those people who has lifted me up, has carried me through, has walked with me through thick and thin, has shaped me into the person I am today, and I am so honored and so glad to have him here. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my Nigerian pastor. Hey, Pastor Zino. Welcome to Beyond Sunday, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for coming. This is such an honor.
Oh, bless God. It's a privilege for me also.
It's such an honor for you to be here. I'm so excited about this episode.
Yeah.
Mainly because we've walked this journey with you for so long. And I really wanted people to experience what I have been experiencing with you for the past couple of years. The lessons that you have taught me for the past couple of years we've walked together. I want everybody else to know.
They should come for flogging.
They should come for flogging. They should come and call you and be like, hello, please. You know? But I just want to say that it's such an honor to have you on Beyond Sunday. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you for walking with me. Thank you for carrying me through. I don't say it enough. Today's the day I will pamper you and make you feel like the big boss, because you are a big boss. Thank you so much. I honestly honor you so much, and this is an amazing opportunity to even have a sit down with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, I've introduced you.
Okay.
I want you to introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Ekelemu Ewomazino, Zino for short. I pastor with Ruach Ministries at the Tabernacle under Reverend Julian Kuehler, and married to Sharon with two bullets. Two bullets, yes. So that's about me. I'm a young brother Zino. Yeah.
Young brother. Karibu.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
So we've been talking about very interesting topics in the last couple of episodes. We started with the wounded worshiper. We talked about how to navigate pain and sort of steward it, because I believe sometimes God allows us to be in certain situations for our purpose. Then we moved on to self-care, how we take care of our mind, our heart, and our temple, because it is important to guard and be a good steward of what God has given us. And then we now moved into leadership, where we've been exploring things pertaining authority, how to handle authority, how to handle offenses with authority, both in the team and just generally speaking. And now today, I wanted us to talk about expectations that pastors have on worship leaders or for worship leaders. I know you've been a worship leader for the longest while, and you've also now been a pastor for a minute. So being someone who has experienced both worlds, I think we should start off by just you telling us how your journey has been in both spaces, where you started out, how that looked like, how you moved and transitioned into pastoral, and so on and so forth.
Oh, okay. I think my journey started born into a Christian home. My dad sings, my mom sings, my sisters, all of them sing. So as a young child, I used to go with them for choir practice, what we call choir practice there. So just seeing what they do. My dad can call you from playing to come and sing hymns in the house. You are playing football like this, just say, all of you, come here, we are carry your hymns. We have different, and we start singing at home. So I think that's where the passion started. So when I got to secondary school, because we didn't have children's choir then and all those things. My church was a very small church back then in Nigeria. So when I got into secondary school, I decided to learn instruments. So fortunately for me, I had a classmate who could play the guitar and the keyboard very well. So he started putting me through. But my first interest was actually drums. So I made my own drums from paint with umbrella.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I made my own drums in the house. My elder brother used to throw them away because I used to put them under the bed.
Hey.
So I started teaching myself drums. Because I both the hi-hat, the cymbal, the kick, I made all those things myself, learned from somebody anyway. Then played in the house. Then my friends started teaching me keyboard and guitar. I remember taking, I don't know what they call this thing. It's this thing using holding ceilings together. So I drew 5 lines on it as bass guitar, drew do, re, mi. So I started practicing like that.
Nice.
Then, fortunately for me, when the church bought keyboard, I was the only person who had an idea what keyboard was, because so I stayed in the place called Ugele in Delta State, which
I've been there.
You've been there,
yes.
and in Benin, in that my family house. So in that my family house, my pastor then in Benin could play the keyboard. He started showing me the keyboard also. So I would go practice from morning to evening. So when I got back to Ugele where I was staying, because holiday Benin, school Ugele, then the church bought a keyboard. I was the only one who had an idea. My pastor then was gracious enough to allow me to take the keyboard home. So I would go to my friend to put me through. So that's how I started learning. Then somewhere around 93, was it 93, 94? I can't remember very well. Our worship leaders, 2 of them left at the same time. So we were left alone. So I assumed that position of leadership. Today I can't even tell you what we were singing, what we sang, but I know we sang. We sang, and then after school I moved to Benin. Then my pastor brought a music director called Jerry Williams. Jerry Williams was the the Kick Franklin then.
No.
So I learned from him tenor, I learned from him auto. Yeah, so that's how I started developing ear training, how you need to learn.
Yeah.
The passion, I think I've lost it, honestly speaking. The passion was crazy then. Because those days of cassettes, you put cassette, it play, you wake up, you turn it, you play again. So Mississippi Mass Choir, Oslo, that was the guy who introduced us to those people. Georgia Mass Choir, Jonathan, what's his name? Olanda Draper and Associates. All some of those names, I know this generation doesn't even know. Yeah. What's this guy called? This Bishop E. Blake's choir, or the Church of God in Christ.
Yeah.
So it was choir. So my growing up musically was more choir oriented. Yes, more choir oriented. I love that sound of the choir. And you know those choirs then were really big choir.
Yeah.
Then you are growing around people in Nigeria who their passion for music was crazy. So if you go to Church of God Mission, yes, where Bishop Feb was, yes,
yeah,
you go there, they had a big mass choir and people like Osene were learning. I know they don't know me, but we were learning from those guys.
Yeah.
So that's how I grew. Then that responsibility of taking over the worship team when our leaders just left, I think it's one of the things that really grew me. Because you are forced to now know by force what to do. Then I went to school. I discovered in school, they say in the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is the king. I seem to know a little more than other people. So I got into the responsibility of leading a choir that was 120 people. That's scoring, you know. So my little knowledge about keyboard made me to start scoring harmonies, you know.
Yeah.
So from there, got into a church where I became their leader. So I could sing a little, play the keyboard a little, play the bass a little, play the drum. And I think it was later on, which was not a very good thing, I stopped playing and just focused on mostly singing. Music brought me to Kenya, by the way. Just say, hey, we need you to come and take over the choir then. Oh yeah, let's go. Ticket paid, everything. Wow, I'm in Kenya, leading the worship team here. I surveyed the music industry. I say, hey, it's like in Nigeria we are foul. You can make a name here.
Plus your men in Nigeria.
Yes, we are. We are. And some, I think, the passion, the competition, healthy one anyway, drove people a lot. You know, it's like somebody told me one time in the US when they finished Berkeley, they had to come home and they asked them, why did you come home? He said, there to survive.
Tricky.
It's crazy. Because even you who is in school, you meet people who have not gone, who can do what you are doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you find also to an extent in Nigeria. So I think basically that's how I came
To
then
Kenya.
Leading one group to another, choir. It's like everywhere you go, people seem to identify you with the music first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think till I got to Purpose Center now to work. Yeah.
I remember those days we had such a great time. But you really flogged us.
No, I have cooled down. If you met the former version,
That's true.
the Pastor Zino 1.0.
That one really, I remember there was one time that we were late for rehearsal. Actually, it's not even really late for rehearsal. 2 instances actually. We were late coming, we were hosting Freke, then we were late going onto stage because we had the evening worship experience, and we came late. And I remember you really shouted at us. I started crying.
I have repented, I've changed.
Crying.
A new man in
Because
Jesus.
I was like, why would you shout at us like that? But I think those moments really, really shaped me to who I am today. I remember them as one of the most fun times we had, because that time was it was quite something.
Yeah.
So how did you transition to pastoral?
The pastors over me. so
The
so
pastors over you.
so in like, even in my former place, I remember one time my former bishop came and said, "Stop singing. Oh yeah, you are preaching now." I say, "Eh." In fact, he actually made somebody else the music director. Then that guy left. Then I came back again. So coming to under Reverend Julian, his own was just, you see, I told him, okay, this is who I am. I used to do this because I started preaching a lot then. Then one day, say, okay, go and speak. Then I preached. Then I was still leading the worship team. Then one day, say, me, I want you to leave this thing. I say, hey, God, no. You are leaving this thing. No, you are leaving this thing. But for me, you're under somebody and they say you should go, you go. So that's it. Basically, it's actually the pastors I've pastored under who said, we think you should transition.
But I actually think you are a very seasoned and a very good preacher as well. You're someone that really hit a spot.
They
really hit a spot.
I know a pastor who will say, leave this preaching thing.
Go back
and
to singing.
sing. That is where it is. Then some people will say, when you preach, I'm blessed. This singing thing, leave it. So it's a two-way thing. I still say, I believe I should do both. That, honestly speaking, maybe you've heard me say it, that no matter, even if I'm preaching and fire is falling down like Elijah, this singing thing, we have to still do it.
And you've still stuck with it till today.
Yeah. Although for some time we've not done anything, but things are coming.
I think one of the things I really commend you for is having the consistency to be good in both. You know, I think most worship leaders, we are only good at one thing, and then we struggle with the next. But that's a whole different conversation, where let's not get into that. But I really, really commend you for, sticking to both and then being good at both, because it's very difficult to find someone who is good at two things and they do it so well. That I am learning not to just be a jack of one trait, but to be of many and be good at it. Let's talk about what our topic for today, expectations. I like the fact that you have best of both worlds. You are both a worship leader and you're both a pastor. So you both understand us and you understand pastors as well. And for this particular episode, I want you to put on the pastoral hat.
Okay.
I know you lean more towards the side. But I want you to put on the pastoral hat. And maybe where we can start is, what do you believe are the expectations that pastors have for worship leaders? Because that is a very controversial topic to talk about. I believe that every joint suppliers and also every person in the body in a church has their own function, and both of them should function as they should. But for some reason, pastors and worship leaders, we always collide for whatever. I don't know what that is, but I think it's high time we, try and start cracking it. I think as worship leaders, when we are able to understand and get the perspective of our pastors, maybe we'll serve better. Maybe we'll be more effective. Maybe we'll be less wounded, because you can say something. I think even for what we both have been through, there's so many instances where I would have carried you for so long as my pastor, there's so many things you've told me that I'd just be like, hey, that pastor is from Mars, you know? So how do you bridge that gap? And what do you expect from us?
Oh, okay. Let me wear my hat as a pastor. And I will say this. I think the worship leader is actually a very unique. I know some people say it's not ministry, but I see it as a very unique ministry. So the expectation is always very high.
Yeah.
Pastors expect you to carry them to heaven and leave them there. They blame everything on you. So
Talk about it.
You've not created the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And some of them expect you to read them 100% without actually carrying you along. Because the truth is that if you want people to carry your spirit, you have to carry them along.
Yes.
They have to be with you.
Yes.
They have to understand you.
Yes.
Yes, it's true that some worship leaders also miss it because they are not sensitive enough to follow their pastors.
Yes.
Yes, it's true. But the truth is that you must expect also that they are not exactly you. I grew up in a church where, as I was leading worship, you pick a song, you just hear, stop that song now. Then they sing their own. But you see, I was in a wavelength.
Yeah.
But the pastor expects you to be in his wavelength.
Yeah.
And that comes with time. That comes with spending time together. So the expectation of the pastor is that you will know me, you will understand me. And it's not a really bad expectation per se. I think it's calling the worship leader to come up hither.
Yeah.
Come to my level.
Yeah.
Come understand me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come figure me out.
Yeah.
So you have to figure them out.
Yeah.
It's not a bad expectation, but I think where sometimes the friction comes is because I don't spend time with you, but you expect me to know you. That's where the struggle comes. You don't sit with me, you don't chat with me, you don't express yourself to me, but you expect me to know you. So what that does for me is that I have to now increase my frequency of entering heaven to be able to figure you out.
Yes.
Which I think is good.
Yeah.
Because what you've given to me is more time to spend with God. It's like a very good example is what's his name? What's his name? Jesus, I'm forgetting his name. Who said this king Nebuchadnezzar, I think it's Nebuchadnezzar, who said, I had a dream. I want you to tell me the dream and the interpretation. Oga, tell us the dream. We will tell you the interpretation. You say, no.
You tell me.
Tell me the dream I had and the interpretation. Now, Daniel was able to figure that out. The truth is this. Daniel had to have a connection, special connection to God.
There's a wire.
The Bible says even the magicians could not. They told him, they said, no mortal man can do that. It's only a man who is with the gods. So what pastors expect from worship leader is that
you should be able to know.
Be with the gods.
Yeah.
And tell me what I'm feeling.
Yay.
Which is a higher call.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I remember when we were on Mombasa Road, that time when we had Voices of Purpose.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Voices of Purpose. I remember that time when Reverend Julian used to sing at the end of the service and expect you to know what you're supposed to sing. Hey, you would start a song as like, that's not the one. So you're left there as like, okay, what am I supposed to sing? Then there is Pastor Liz, and then there is you, and then there was Pastor Solomon, who somehow you knew what he likes to sing. And for me, as like, what is this? What are these people doing that I'm not doing? Why do they know what Rev wants and I don't? Yeah. So, and I think you are right when you say that pastors really expect you to
stay there.
To stay there. And then for us, we either don't stay there or we don't strive to try and figure that out.
I think for the times I was able to figure some out, because not all, what I do is that I listen to the message as he is preaching. I'm calculating. Hey, this message, where is he going?
Yeah.
What is he saying? Which song fits the end? Which one will go here? Honestly, sometimes I am doing that. I'm literally doing that while he's teaching. I'm going, okay, this point he has it. Are we ending on a sober note, on a high note?
Yeah.
So are we expecting jumping here?
Yeah.
Or are we expecting something calm here?
Something calm.
I have to literally do that.
Yeah.
But there are times you still miss it. You still climb on that stage and sing a song and say, no. Catch me in the spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, but I think worship leaders must be able to figure
it out.
Yes. Why the sermon is going on, why the message is going on, and say, where is he going? Where is he going? Yes. Yeah.
And how would you say, what would that process look like? Is it just on the Sunday you come, or do you have to have a Monday to Friday sort of inculcation of the whole?
It's both. It's both, because you see, for us, especially when back then, you don't even know what the pastor is going to preach on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's not even like now we have a theme. I know there are churches where they will even give you the title of the message. You know those things. So we don't know. So you have to be kind of in the spirit. You know, one of the words I normally use is the spirit man. Enter, go inside the spirit, go there.
Yeah.
So you have to be in the spirit to be able to say, okay. So both Monday to Friday, because you live your life sensitive.
Yeah.
To what God is feeding you with, or what is telling you, where are we going, especially as a leader.
Yeah.
Now, we are not even talking about just the worship team members. We're talking about the worship leader.
Yeah.
You are saddled with the responsibility of leading others in worship.
Yeah.
So you keep your spirit tender, keep it alive to make sure there's no interaction. Then you, right there on the service, you're also calculating. Where are we going?
Where are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what other expectations apart from now that, in terms of character, in terms of the person of the worship leader, in terms of how they steward what God has given them in terms of the gift and also their personal life? So character, any challenges they might face, what do you expect of them?
I think I expect the worship leader to be able to manage the people he's leading, to start with. Don't bring all your troubles to me.
Hey, come on.
We don't want to hear all your drama. Manage them. I tried to do that as much as I can. You know, we had our own dramas.
Yeah.
But you try to shield it away from the pastor, because the pastor has his own, he's thinking about the church, not just the people. He's thinking about the church structure. He's thinking about the finances. He's thinking about this. He's thinking about expansion.
Yeah.
Don't add your trouble to his own. So the pastor expects you as a worship leader to be able to manage your team.
Yes.
Manage the people you are leading. And managing the people means you've tried to manage yourself also.
Talk about it.
So you are not the one who is going to go and be telling the pastor, me, I'm going through this, I'm doing that, I'm going through that. You can't be a baby. No. At that level, you've been entrusted with a responsibility. That means I expect you as a worship leader not to be my headache.
That means there's a level of maturity
Yes,
required.
yes. To lead the people, manage your people, manage that sector. Don't be the source of drama now. Don't be the source of stories. Because, you know, the truth is that gifted people, we as worship leaders, if we are not careful, we are the story.
It is true.
And rightfully so, because we are projected. Every Sunday you are in church, people may not see the host. They may not see the intercessor. But the worship leaders are seen every day. We saw him in this place. We saw him in this place. We saw him doing that. We don't expect that from him. Let's not be... Sir, who is that person? You know, I'll tell you this. When I wanted to take up, actually I was not taking up that responsibility because somebody introduced me to my former bishop back then, 1997. I will not forget. Then he called me, we sat down, he said, okay, you know, so what do you want? So I told him A, B, C, D, me and I. So he said, you know, I've invited people to lead this team. You are the first person telling me this. I don't want to go to the story. When I was going back to school, because I was in school, I came from where I was to Abuja. When I was going back to school, he said I should come and stay in front. So I stood in front. He told the church to give me money. He said, everybody. Then he said something. He said, you know, this is the first person who has led the worship team. And I didn't hear stories about him. Everybody who had come here, first 2 weeks, they have done this, they have done that. Then he said, it's because this guy have been trained well. He said, I want you people to bless him. So I'm not blowing my trumpet, I'm just saying what happened. So that's the fact that I didn't give him any reason to worry. Pastors expect the worship leaders to be able to man their responsibility without these stories of Satan fell from heaven and fell into worship.
Hey.
Yeah, you know, those kind of things.
Yes.
Yes. Now you are hearing this one, did that. Let me tell you, there are people who had issues in the worship team. Even before you came.
Yeah.
Some came to tell me, this one happened to me. Me, I cover my people. Oh, yes. I cover my people. I protect my people. It's okay. It has happened. Okay, how do we deal with this? And I can tell you there were some of those stories that never got to Reverend's ear. Why? Because I manage the people. We expect you to be able to build trust in your team so that they can talk to you.
Yes.
They don't jump over you.
Yeah.
So you build a relationship with them. I don't know how effective I did that during my time, but it's an expectation.
Yeah.
So that your people can come to you and they open up to you and say, hey, Pastor,
yeah.
So I A, B, C, D as a worship leader. Then you are able to manage them. So your character also is there. At least, because people will not trust you if you are the one that is their trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think going now deeper even to that conversation, I would now go to communication. How best can a worship leader communicate to their pastor? And now, I like what you said about being able to manage yourself and your team. Now, let's go into the singer, for instance, who is part of the team, and they have a leader who does not listen to them or does not give them the space to come to them for ideas, feedback, prayer, raising of concerns, and all that jazz. How do you then navigate to be able to survive in such an environment without getting church hurt, or carrying your pastor? Because I believe you serve effectively when you are weightless, you know, and most of the pain points usually come when dealing with authority and when we are not able to communicate our desires effectively and then feel hard, you know, because most of the worship leaders I've had the privilege to talk to in the recent years and weeks, now that we've been doing this for a while, most of them are really, really wounded with, I tried to communicate to my pastor and they did this. And not in any way to shun any pastor or any leader, but it's to how can we be wise as worship leaders and take responsibility to bring our concerns? Because I feel like sometimes even us we can be a headache.
True.
You know,
True.
our approach can be wrong. The way we navigate authority can be wrong. So what is the wisdom in there? So that we can feel heard. And then also now, because you're a pastor, how do pastors, handle their people? So that if you have a worship pastor or a worship leader who is not effective in their job, there is still a way that we can wisely communicate without having this rough patches. And then you're staying in a church, you lead worship in a church, you sing in a church, but you're so burdened because you are so suppressed. How do you navigate that wisely?
If I'm looking at your question, it's in two ways. So worship leader to the pastor first. See, my take would be, understand that this is the visionary or the head. Okay? And whatever expectations you have, whatever need you need met, understand that sometimes they are not telling you everything. Okay, so I'll give you an illustration. When we were young and the church bought instruments for the first time in Benin now, the instrument my pastor bought then was locally made. I don't know if you've seen locally made guitars. Locally made guitars.
Yeah.
They have their own make. It was from a place called Agbo. Now you go to another church, you see
well curated instruments.
So we came and we didn't want to play the locally made. Let me tell you what changed my mind. Was the day another church worship team came to play that locally made. And I discovered that, it is the skill.
It is the skill.
It's not the guitar.
Come on.
That's the problem. So then, but eventually he bought the real thing. So I discovered the lesson I learned as an individual. I don't know if my brothers then and those around me learned it. Is that sometimes when you say something and it's not being done, let it rest. Don't force. See, if that is God's way, to go full circle and come back there.
Yeah.
So sometimes you go meet your pastor and say, and we want this, and he doesn't take you serious. Leave him. Pray about it. Don't push him. Sometimes you don't know why, because he will not tell you everything. The pastor will not tell you, as I'm talking to you now, we don't even have a dime. Some pastors could, but most of them, they won't tell you. They will just tell you, okay.
We'll see what
and they will do the opposite.
Yeah.
Now, let me put a disclaimer there. You must know and trust that this your pastor hear God.
Yes.
You believe in him.
Yeah.
Now, if you are dealing with such a man, and you know this man has the heart of God, leave him. I know there are pastors that are just stubborn, who feel if it doesn't come from their mouth, it can't happen. If you raise that suggestion and it's not their suggestion, it will never work. Those ones, me, I have a problem with them, east, west, south, north.
Yeah.
But if you are dealing with a genuine man of God, who has a heart for God, who has a heart for the people, and he refuses, let it rest. It will come full circle. Understand you are not the owner of the ministry. Number two, you are not the visionary. It will give you rest.
Say that again.
It will give you rest. This one is the pastor. Me, my position is changeable. I normally tell people, and I used to say that.
Yes. I
used
remember.
to tell, especially if you come to a place where somebody was before, and you are not the leader.
Yeah.
Okay, just also know that somebody else can come. It will give you rest. It will give you peace of mind. You will not feel bad the day they tell you sit down.
Yeah.
Or stand up, or go by the side. Just understand. And understand that whatever you're doing, you are doing it unto God.
Unto the Lord,
yes. Please don't try to please pastor. If you try to please pastor, you can't please a man. Your first call of assignment is unto God.
Yeah.
And if it's hitting God, somehow it will touch that pastor, except that pastor is a complete backslider, gone completely, idol worshiper, Shaitani worshiper. Except that. So I look at it from that angle that manage your expectations. It will give you peace. So that when the pastor says, oh, we can't do that or that, it's okay. Wait, pray. You will win your battles faster on your knees than with your mouth, trying to convince somebody. Then from the end of the pastor to the worship leader, I think it's an issue of understanding. Yeah, understanding that those people are not at your level sometimes. You are the spiritual boss here. For whatever reason, God has made you the head. Just understand that these people God has given you, they are like sheep. You are supposed to manage them. So I think it's an issue of that understanding.
Yeah.
That you need to approach them as your, I'll use that word in quote, children.
Your babies.
Yes. These are people God has given me to nurture. In fact, it was Peter who was saying we should take heed to the flock that God has given us.
Yes.
And Jesus has bought with his blood. Now, if you understand that, then your approach to your worship leader will be different. Even when they say something that you think is, are you joking? There's a way you will handle them.
Yeah.
Now, those things come by growth, learning. Yes, it's not overnight. Sometimes we grow into some of these things we are saying. I myself as a worship leader, I don't used to be very gracious. Like, where are you coming from?
It is true. I've experienced it.
Yeah, but as you grow,
Yeah.
you get to understand that that's not how to handle people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how would a worship leader who is in that current situation right now, where you are in a local church, you're planted, you are serving, you are faithful, but you are in an environment where you have a very, very unpopular leader? How do you deal? Because I think most times what usually happens, or what I've seen, is, for instance, if I went to ICC today and I experienced how their worship team, is treated by their pastor, and I'm like, hey, Pastor Zino doesn't treat us like that. And then you sort of get this, get this feeling. You're like, you either gravitate more to complaining, and rather than being grateful with, this is where God has planted me for this season. This is where I am at. Maybe God is trying to teach me something in this season. We look at it as such a bad place, because I believe that God places us in places that could be unfavorable to us, and could look like it's not what I expected. But in there is a very valuable lesson that God is trying to teach, and God is trying to build your character. So, knowing that, because knowing and doing, they're like this. How do you stay? How do you have the grit to be like, God has planted me here. Yes, I don't have the most perfect leader. Yes, I don't have the most popular leader. He might be like this. He might have a bad character issue. How do I stay there and, blossom? And when do I know it's time to leave? If I need to leave. Yeah.
That's a very tough question, by the way.
Yes.
Very, very tough question. I think if you know or you believe, I prayed one time, I said, God, give me a leader who will deal with me. So when I had my former bishop who was screaming, it's like, Then I remember I prayed that prayer. Say, God, I need somebody who will not belabor me, so to speak. So I think it's an issue of understanding your personal work with God. Yeah. Because the more you get deeper in God, the more you understand that God is building something, the more it gives you the grace to stay. And it's also understanding that one of the things the Bible calls us is like we are soldiers. And in the army, you obey before you complain.
Yeah.
Yes, it's understand. I think you should look beyond what your pastor is saying to his heart. To his heart. To be honest with you, I think why I've survived everywhere I've been before, with all the toughness I saw, is the heart.
Okay.
I look beyond what the person is saying to what is the heart this person has. And I also believe strongly, times and seasons are in God's hands. Times and seasons are in his hand. So what I tell myself is this, is when your time comes, even the air you are breathing will be chasing you. You don't need to run away. When your time comes, even this man who is tough, who is like this, he will release you because your time has come.
Yes.
It's just the way they say, you can't, what's the word? There's a way they say it, you can't fight an idea whose time has come. There's something they say like that. Yes. When the time is come for you to move, you will know.
Yeah.
It's a knowing that I don't know how to explain it. And I know sometimes it happens with conflict.
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't happen with conflict.
Yes.
But when the season comes, times are season and gone, you will know that my season in this place is up.
Yes.
I need to move.
Yes.
Because there will be a restlessness in you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will discover that you and the pastor, you will no longer cope.
Yeah.
And if you are somebody who is loyal, because I believe in loyalty, you don't want to disobey somebody you are under.
Yes.
So the best thing for you to do is just go.
Yeah.
Instead of us fighting, coming to these talks where you are quarreling every day, you are arguing every day. It's time. I'll give you an instance. So some years ago, when I finished school and I was in the church, I actually told my pastor then, I said, I don't want to work in church. He said, no, you must work. We had an argument for more than a month, about a month, really. So I accepted. It's okay, fine. Then all of a sudden, after some time, things were changing. One day he told me, am I not paying you? And me, I don't like that one. I told you before I don't want to work in church. You pleaded with me to work. Now you are screaming at me. Wait. Do you know what God did? My dad wrote me a letter. And the letter says, I want you to come
home. He created an opportunity.
I just carried the letter to him. My dad said I should come. We didn't need to argue.
Yeah.
And you know, and he used to be the kind who he hardly allows you move.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I honor Reverend Julian today.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I say it, people don't understand it. It's
I
because
understand you.
Hey,
I understand
that one you can't
you.
cough. Oh. If you cough, they collect the cough, give it back to you. Where are you coughing?
I understand.
So you know, my dad wrote a letter. So I just knew it is the time. So I said, sir, my dad said I should come up.
It's not me, it's my dad.
It's not me. So I believe in that if you stay working with God, times and seasons are in his hand. When the time comes, the air, the water you drink, the ground you are walking on, everything will be talking and say, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. I've seen that happen with me over and over. You know that. Yeah, instead of fighting, because I don't believe you should be fighting with your pastor for any reason.
Yeah.
Instead of disobeying, instead of you having that bad blood, listen. And I know that sometimes worship leaders, they sort of get stuck.
Yeah.
Because they say, if I leave here, where am I going?
Where am I going?
You should trust God enough. If you're serving him, he will make your way.
Yeah.
If it's your season to move.
You will move.
Yes. But look beyond the face, look to the heart.
Yeah.
Because there are fathers God will give you who are like Elijah. They can call lion, they can call fire, but they will raise Elishas. If their heart is right, you're fine. Look beyond this. You will know that this person has my interest, even with all this screaming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So as we finish, I'd like you to tell and maybe give your parting shot by encouraging someone who has been or is currently in a worship team or in a church space, and they have really struggled to navigate leadership, either because they do not have the maturity or the experience or the know-how of how to deal with their leader, or they are positioned in a place where they're dealing with a very difficult person, and this person is their father, is their spiritual father. Help them. How would they navigate them as you?
I think what I would tell you is this, no matter who it is, you have a father that is beyond that one, and he's called Baba God. Yes. What I would tell you is go to him and say, Lord, this cup is heavy, but not my will, but yours be done. In fact, that's the prayer you should start praying. Not mine, but yours be done. Because we have access to him, and he's the master orchestrator who makes things happen, who can turn things around, the Bible says if a man's way please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Yes, God can give you the grace to survive the trouble that you are under. God, let's say the person is even doing it deliberately, wants to punish you because they feel you are not listening. You have a big head as a worship leader. God can give you the grace to be able to handle the pressure. God can pray for a heart that submits no matter what, no matter the pressure. I believe if you talk to God, if you are able to pray, that God will give you grace to handle for the season you are there. Because one of the things I know is that, see, God has not made, when God gave the dominion mandate, it was not over man. It was over the fish, over the fowl. So God has not made anybody to oppress others. And God sees. In fact, the Bible says God sees the oppression of leaders. And God has a way of bringing you out. So I will encourage you, don't just run because you feel the environment is toxic or it's harsh. Talk to God first. God has a way of making room for you. Oh, yes, he does. I can tell you stories. He does. He has a way of creating opportunities for you. I stayed with my dad. My dad is a very tough man. Very tough man. And when we had no option, we got admission. That was the praise the Lord. So God will create the opportunity for you to go, or give you the grace to be able to handle it for the season if he's doing a work in your life. So I want to encourage you, stay put, talk to God. He makes a way.
I want you to do the same for another lot of people, as this is the last one, for the lot of worship leaders that have left already and have stayed out of church for a while because they did not have the capacity, or they were too hurt by their leaders to stay in church. And to some extent, there are others who've really almost denounced their faith because of that. What would you say to such a person?
This is what I would tell you. And I may sound harsh here, but believe me, who were you serving in the first place? Who were you serving? Because if your service is unto God, then you remove man from the equation. You know, one of the problems we have is that there's this doctrine of yours, serve God, serve man. And I agree, you can serve your pastor. There's nothing wrong with it. But you must understand your ultimate service is first to God. So that's why I said you should look beyond the man. If your service is to God, I want you as a worship leader, talk to yourself, ask yourself, who was I serving? Was I serving God? Because if you say you are serving God, then you can't stay home. You can't run away from God. you need to go back to church. But because we were serving an individual, we have put so much trust on an individual. When they hurt us, we become really hurt. And I will say this, you must understand your pastor is a man before he's of God. He's a man first. One of the reasons why people lose their faith is because they've put the men of God in a pedestal. If you look at them first as men before of God, then you know that they have faults. A pastor falls into sin, people lose their faith. Why? Because they've seen them as gods. They feel these guys are perfect, they can't do anything wrong. No, they can do things wrong. They can hurt you. So please, talk to yourself. Encourage yourself. Talk to yourself that, number one, maybe I made a mistake of putting so much confidence in God. Reverend Julia, my father in the Lord, normally says this. He said, there is nowhere God asks you to trust in men. In all scriptures, trust in him. So because we've put our trust and our confidence in men, they make promises to us. Some of us, we are hurt because they made promises to us that they didn't fulfill. You were trusting in a man.
Yeah.
Your trust should be first in God.
Yeah.
So that when men fail you, you say, oh,
You have a fallback. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This episode, I think, is one that will touch the hearts of many who have been wounded in church and don't know how to navigate authority. And I'd just like to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to get into at least 1% of the pastor's mind. Because some of us are walking blind. We navigate this whole journey without knowing where to step, where not to step, how to speak, how not to speak, how to ask for feedback, how to use how to have the wisdom to navigate this whole space. And I just want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And this opens an opportunity to have more conversations like this.
Sure.
And I think I'd encourage you to let me know your thoughts. What do you think about what we have discussed down in the comments below? And whether you would want us to have more of these conversations. I believe we will create platforms. Please put down all your questions. We'll have another opportunity, I believe, to even, host other pastors, other worship leaders, so that we can be able to figure this thing out, and honor each other and serve effectively as God has called us to. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for, staying till the end. I know for some of you, this is a very triggering conversation, but the fact that you've been here to this hour, to this time, I appreciate you. I honor you. And I am here to encourage you. One, you are not alone. We are many that go through these issues, but the fact that we are able to talk about them at least gives us one step ahead to healing and to become better and effective worship leaders. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and share to anyone who this will be of benefit to. And see you in the next video. Keep it beyond Sunday. Bye.